what I've got is, these are 5 tips that if you're going to try to introduce somebody who is completely new, never played kind of miniatures games before, you're going to introduce somebody new, these are 5 tips that I would suggest maybe taking into account. As I said before in the live stream earlier, doesn't mean I'm right and everybody else is wrong kind of thing. These are just my kind of thoughts. And you don't know what I'm going to talk about. No. So I'm going to kind of ask you after each one, what do you think kind of thing. So the first one is try something new to both of you. Now, Paul in the chat's just saying he would always suggest teaching a game that you know inside out, like be the teacher type thing. And I do agree with that. I think even if you are going to teach somebody new to play a game, even if it's a brand new game, you should have at least kind of read the rules and have a basic idea about how it works. Like, don't basically sit down together and go, right, let's read the rule book together, right? But I think if you buy a new game, a game that's new to both of you, then basically you're starting on a bit more of an even keel. And it's not a case of, well, I've played this for years, so I know it inside out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this game, you're going to know nothing, and I know all these little secret tricks and moves and stuff. You almost want to find those out together. And that's why I would maybe suggest buying something that is new to both of you. Like, you've decided together, this is the game we're going to give a try to, and let's do it. And it was one of the reasons why the list I did earlier were kind of all £50 or less. None of those games were more than £50. What do you think of that?
I think it depends on how complicated the game is.
No, yeah, let's take complicated out of it a little bit, because the games I'm suggesting should be a little bit more simple.
So it's not other things that you've taught me to play.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's nice to learn it together. I think you kind of feel like you're in it together and you're on the same. Although, obviously, you've got much more general understanding of how a game would run, so you tend to pick up the rules easier than I would. Yeah. But that's kind of
no. But if it was a game I knew inside out,
will you end up playing the game for both of us?
Yeah.
Or not necessarily trying to, but you kind of, can I tell you something? And you're not always right.
No, I agree.
So,
getting on to that one. So the next one, the second tip I've got is to don't try and kind of metagame it. So metagaming is kind of like, is the game behind the game. So when you're thinking of, like, if you're building a list for like an army type thing, like, there's no point in me kind of going deep into, well, these are all the best combinations, and if I should do this, and if this works with this, and actually like almost trying to get good at the game before we've even played it. And it kind of comes back to the first one. One of the reasons why I said to try something new together, because I think it's sometimes in our nature, like, even if you just play casually, you still kind of want to try your best. Nobody goes into a game thinking, I'm just going to basically waste my time and like just kind of. And also, I don't think you'd enjoy it if I was basically just holding back all the time. Like if I knew all these secret tricks and I'm just kind of like doing the basics, I think that might.
Yeah, I also wouldn't want you to use secret tricks you didn't tell me about.
No, and that happens, doesn't it? Because you forget about them, don't you? You start to know them. But I think like kind of one thing you certainly shouldn't do is basically bring your A game. If you do know the game inside out, don't bring like your kind of like your best game and go. And just like watch your partner do a few moves and then absolutely smash them off the table kind of thing. That's not a way to get somebody interested in the game. The third one is kind of, and I'm guilty of this one, I know, is let them make their own decisions. Even if they're not the most optimal decisions, even if you can think of a better way, even if you think, and I've done this when we've played, is like, it'll show the game off or it'll let me explain a different rule. Just let them make their decisions. If they feel that you are basically telling them what to do all the time, you might as well play on your own.
Yeah, you may as well play two-parted. And I think that partly comes back to your first point of trying something new together, because you're less likely to do it if you're partially learning it yourself.
Yeah. The fourth one, and it comes back, we just recently touched on there in the live stream about like Warhammer 40k lore and stuff. Do not go overboard on the rules and the background to the game. I know if I said, right, I've got this game, it takes about 30 minutes to play, blah blah, and basically what the story is there's these two wizards and they're fighting, and they're like, as soon as I kind of like try and put too much,
you get this stuff.
If I'm trying to sell the theme too much, I've already lost you kind of thing. So you might be mega interested in the background and the lore and the stories and the fantastic like rules behind it. But essentially, what you think of it like you're demoing a game at a convention type thing. You've got a limited amount of time to kind of to get the basics across and to see if somebody is interested in it.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think. I mean, some people may be more interested in that than others as well.
I think
it depends on who you are, doesn't it, and what you're interested in. But for me, it would lose me. You need to know the premise of the game, and you need to know what you can and can't do. But I don't need to know if there's like a whole book about what the background story is of all the characters. Do you know what I mean? But other people might find that interesting.
I was just going to say as well, like I said at the start of this, it doesn't mean I'm right and everybody else is wrong kind of thing. You know the person that you're going to be playing against, and you might want to approach it in a completely different way. But I know from experience, when I've taught other people to play games, there's generally a thought that I can see that kind of glazing over if I start to wax lyrical about how interesting the background is.
You know when it's happening.
Yeah. And the last one, and I don't think anybody's going to disagree with this one, is have fun and have a laugh. That's why we're playing the game. This is what the aim of the game is. It's to spend some time together. That is something different to what you normally do, is to have fun and have enjoyment. And at the end of the day, it's not about winning, it's not about losing, it's about the two of you having a fun couple of hours playing a game kind of thing, or whatever it is. And I don't think anybody's really going to disagree with that one.
It's got to be the main point of what you're doing in the first place, doesn't it? And as long as it's not overly complicated, I think it makes that even easier to do, because there's a bit of probably banter along the way, which I think is important.
I mean, like I said, it's the reason that you play games is to have fun. It should never feel like you're having a test. Like it's not a quiz kind of thing. Like, even though quizzes can be enjoyable, but it's not like you're sitting a test.
Not after lockdown.
I'll rephrase it. You're not. It's not like you're sitting an exam. That's what I should say. It shouldn't be a case of how much of this that I've just told you can you remember to play the game kind of thing. It's just about having fun. So again, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month. And there is lots of different tiers and bonuses, which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.